Hi, I'm Don. Welcome to my studio.
This channel is supported by all these awesome brands. My fave airbrush paints would be the Mecha colors. These are pre-thin paints and I love them. They're so easy to airbrush. However, today we're airbrushing with Cuttlefish colors. However, today we'll talk about fine scale and miniature painting. Well, basically, fine scale painting is a bit different than miniature painting, in my opinion. When I received this model from Ancient Era Artistry, which is a 1 is to 56, like a 28mm, basically 28mm T-Rex, I was torn with the painting of the model. I am no fine scale modeler though or fine scale painter, but I came from the Gunpla hobby, which tries to emulate fine scale modeling. However, Gunpla modeling only feels like fine scale if you do dioramas, and Gunpla painting only feels like fine scale if you do weathering. But again, I was torn between the painting style of this T-Rex when I got it from Ancient Era Artistry. So I was thinking, should I paint this like fine scale painting or should I paint it like miniature painting? Basically, fine scale painting and modeling is similar with miniature painting and modeling. They require the same skills and techniques, but they're totally different, at least in my opinion. When I started out, I started taking miniature painting seriously around May last year. It was a struggle, especially at the first maybe 6 months of my shift from gunpla painting to miniature painting, because gunpla is mostly airbrush and then weathering, but with miniature painting it requires a lot more brush painting. It's not like it's my first time to do brush painting though, because I took up fine arts when I was in college and that was more than 20 years ago. However, brush painting models, especially tiny miniatures, is so much different than painting huge models and gunpla. After fine-tuning my brush painting skills and of course brush control for the first 6 months of my miniature painting last year, it was a bit easy from there on. However, I find the edge highlighting so illogical. To this day, I don't do edge highlighting, especially at the bottom areas of models, because I just can't grasp the idea why would you have a source of light from the bottom unless it's OSL or lava bases or something. So it's just me, I can't fully grasp the idea of highlighting everything. Basically, the main difference of fine scale painting and miniature painting is that with fine scale, you're trying to achieve realism. Like for example, you have a base, it's very nice to use pigments and dust colored washes to make it super realistic. But with miniature painting, you tend to do highlights, especially around the bricks of the base and stuff like that. So it's more about making it pop for miniature painting, but for fine scale, it's more of making sure that your work looks ultra realistic. So since I was torn with the painting of this model, I wasn't sure if I want to make it look like super realistic with very nice washes on the skin tones and toned down skin color, or miniature painting wherein if I look at it from a foot away, it will really pop. So I ended up with a mix of miniature painting and fine scale painting. As you can notice, the skin has a bit of highlights with lime green color on the skin, and the whole color scheme is a bit more poppy. Like it's very saturated, and also the dry brushing later, which I did not record on film, on the base is a bit too much. It's not realistic looking. However, I use pigments on the base, use some tops, and then also I use still water so that the tongue of or the mouth of this T-Rex is super shiny, which is a fine scale technique in a way, because you're after like really good finish in terms of glosses and stuff, you don't really need to paint the highlights much like NMM. You just have to like use varnishes to differentiate the glossy finishes and the matte finishes. So I think although this was just quick work, I'm happy with the result. Although it's obviously a mixture of different styles of sci-fi, of fine scale, and of course miniature painting. Now it's time again to thank my patrons. Without this guys, there will be no YouTube channel. Special thanks to my gold level patrons, which really supports my channel and my painting, and of course the higher tier patrons, my platinum tier patrons, which are crazy generous, and of course the dynamic duo of Marco Colucci and Matt Adamo. Now it's time for our golden lemon reveal. Oh, if you like the painting of this green T-Rex, I think you might like my other video, the painting of the orange T-Rex. I know it doesn't make sense that you have an orange and a green T-Rex, but who knows their colors. I'll put the link of the video of the orange T-Rex painting below. These are both from ancienteraartistry.com. Now here's our green T-Rex. Obviously the gloss, still water varnish, no not varnish, the glossy finish of the mouth is copied from fine scale modeling, and also the very glossy blood effects are basically fine scale stuff, since usually if you're going for a display level miniature painting, you'll paint the highlights. Although I did stipple some highlights on the tongue and the bloody parts of the duckbill dinosaur. I then eventually added layers of still water to give it a very glossy finish. So I was torn between like making this look very realistic, but at the same time make it look really nice and popping on the table. So now I ended up with this. That's it, Pansit.